Hello there, everyone. Night shifters. I forgot to call this a night shift, but it is indeed the night shift. And I'm going to be in the dark again for this one, as I will talk a little about Pastor Bob Joyce and Elvis, of course. The main thing I want to talk about is my updated prediction for November, December, January. And I think this is going to be kind of a quick one. We'll see. It depends on your participation as well, because if I get questions, I might have answers. So testing. Pastor Bob. Hi, Sheila. Nice to see you. And so testing the mic, Pastor Bob Joyce, Elvis Presley. Testing 3, 2, 1. So I do actually have one thing to share about Pastor Bob. And, well, actually, it's more from 𝐸∐𝐸, but of course has to do with Pastor Bob. And that would be that I heard back from Gene again. He does short email responses, and he's kind of an email hero, I guess, because lots of times you can't get a hold of somebody like that. He has pretty good following, but I don't know, maybe he has a team helping him, but he does mention on his lives and mentions often the email address and makes himself available. So basically, I'll give you guys the inside scoop, which is, well, I reached out to Gene about a month ago, or about a month before the election, and I was, kind of like, hey, can you throw me a bone about some things? Because even though I feel really good about the, I don't know what you want to call it, the connecting of the dots with Pastor Bob and the mystery there and all the connections, I don't want to just be spinning my wheels, and I don't want to tell anyone, I don't want to give anyone the wrong impression online either. And as you all know, I certainly don't want to give Pastor Bob a hard time, but we're kind of living in this crazy world we're living in. So about a month ago, Gene told me that we're in this holding pattern and we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. So that's what I did. That's what he's been doing. That's what we've all been doing. We've been just digging for more info and videos and sharing it. And he's been doing his thing. Well, now that the election was over, and we know how that went very well, I decided to write him again and ask him. And so basically, all he could tell me was to keep following what he's sharing on his socials and just see kind of where things go this month. Which, the funny part about that is, it's really the same thing I've been telling all you guys for months, is that we got to wait for things to play out, and we shouldn't get our hopes up for anything major to happen sooner. Because the last 4 years have been our teacher on that. Lots of people have been predicting, saying lots of things, sharing dates and hopium on things that panned out to nothing. I'm looking at the moon, which, oh, there it is. So that's basically all Gene told me. Really kind of a continuation of what he told me last time. But like I said, I'm not surprised because I've been seeing the writing on the wall for many months now, and we're just waiting for things to play out. However, now that the election is done and won, I do have a improvement to the prediction of what I see with everything that's happening, and I'm trying to make this short, so I'm not going to go into all the details. So many or most of us who thought that Trump was going to be returning and there was going to be a big storm event at the end of this and just some very huge changes. Well, we still believe that's going to happen. I still do. But now that the election has been outright won, like we were hoping, and there's already so many good things that are happening, I'm wanting to sort of update my optimistic timeline for all of us by saying I really think that these scary events that we've been kind of expecting and telling each other about, anticipating, is mostly going to be for the bad guys. And I hope you hear what I'm saying. That is really good news. And that's the way I think it's going to lean. And let me try to give you one of my examples, reasons why. Because the bad guys, for a very long time, have used the conflicts, the wars, the destruction to cause the fear in the people and for control of us. We know it. We know it on so many different angles and reasons. And that's what we've learned, especially the last 8 years. So, again, trying to make this short, I really believe now, from everything we've seen, and again, like I said, now that this election went the way that it did, very by the book, pretty much, I really think that the ones who should be scared about what's coming are just the ones who have done all those things to us. And I mean, in hindsight, I don't think there was ever the plan for the good guys to give all of us some life shocking, scary events that we're going to have to recover from before we can make the world a better place. No. And this is a new perspective for me too. So I wanted to share it with you all. And I've seen a few people also saying the same things lately and connecting the same dots and seeing it this week. But as I started to sort of think it through, the more I see the things that are happening and try to put my head in the place of where they would be, talking about the good guys, it just really makes a lot of sense. They're the bad guys are the ones who need to feel the pressure and the fear. And all of the stuff that's going to come out about children, about people within our own countries and the things they've done, if just that is shared with everybody, that is going to be enough to shock everyone and get them paying attention. Especially if we're all doing it at the exact same week, time, however long of a time period that is. So, and that's been one of the, you could say, documented rumors for the last 4 years, well, last 7 years, is that there's going to be a time when basically everything shuts down for an unknown amount of days, and there will be broadcasts, and we will all get on the same page to some extent. And so I don't think we need I'm trying to leave this, I'm trying to look on both sides of the possibilities, but when you hear phrases like enjoy the show, optimistic sorts of phrases, it doesn't make any sense for us to be enjoying the show if we're all having a terrible experience, right? So some of what I'm sharing is based on like specific dots I've connected. And then a lot of it is just intuition and based on the past and how things have gone. Because most of us didn't want it to take this long. But in hindsight, it's crystal clear, just like what happened to Biden and Kamala the last 4 years. If they wouldn't have been allowed to ruin themselves publicly the last 4 years, then a lot of people still wouldn't see it and they wouldn't understand it. But now Trump is like returning like he's on a white horse, and he's going to fix so much, and it's going to be so fast because in reality, it was always that clear cut of a difference. It's just people didn't see it, and they got played. The bad guys got played, and Trump has been playing chess, and he's been 10 steps ahead of him. Not just him either, but the whole team. So I think that's all I wanted to share with you guys. Trying to make this quick so I can finish taking this doggy. You probably can't see. And hi, Vicky. So, yep, it's another dark night shift. And so I just want to share that because, like I said, it is kind of a big change to a big improvement to what I was expecting before the election and still waiting to see how things unfolded. And I told you guys after the election, I knew I was going to have some kind of clear new picture, and this is it. I really think that most of the craziness that's coming is not going to be for us. It's going to be for the bad guys that we've been watching and talking about for all these years. So let's hope and pray for that. But at the same time, that's what I see coming, and I'm confident. So no point in really worrying about it too much. And yeah, I think that's a wrap. So thank you all for hanging out, listening, watching. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something about hmm. Yeah, I do have some big announcements probably in the next 2 weeks or so, just for projects that I'm working on. But I'm kind of keeping it under wraps for now because I'm not sure exactly what all I'm gonna be able to get done by the end of the year. But I'm looking forward to that and trying to focus a little bit more on that now than all this waiting period of stuff that's going on. Hi, Patty. Darkness will be smothered by the light. That's right. And yeah, that's really what we've been seeing happen the last 4 years. It's just the lies only last so long before it comes to the surface and is seen. And the truth just doesn't go away. It just stays strong. So that in a nutshell is why we've had to wait all this time and to just let it play out, because that is the perfect plan if you think about it, in just as far as truth and lies go. Time will eventually make it clear if it's done properly, which it has been. So, okay, you guys take care. What is it, Friday? Yeah. Totally lost track of the days of the week this week with the election and all the excitement. But you guys have a great weekend. And this will probably normally be my live time. No guarantees, of course, but that's what it's been lately. So look for me somewhere around this time, or what was that, 5:30ish California time, Pacific time. So I guess that's like 8:30ish p.m. Eastern time. So just around that time, I can keep sharing with you anything new that I'm seeing or hearing. I know it's all kind of vague, but like I always say, if you want more specifics, that's what I was going to say. If you want more specifics, you need to go to the video descriptions where you see my news page, where I share all the text sort of updates and other video updates that I don't share here. And early this morning, I shared a video on those two channels at the top. So a lot more of the things that I'm not saying right now, I said in that video. And that's just how it goes. So over here, I give you the vague general, this is what I'm seeing. And then over there, I give you more specifics, because I can do what I want there. So, all right. Winged eternally. Glad you made it. Blessings. So, yeah, lots of us are going through different crazy times right now, including myself, just challenges and sometimes not sleeping and not feeling 100%. And, it's just the enemy trying to get to us because we're winning. We're winning big time. So just keep fighting and rest when you need to. Take care of yourself. Eat good food, healthy stuff, juices and water and fruits and vegetables and grains, and maybe have your one treat day of the week, but the rest of the time try to be good. Take care of your body. And Winged Eternally says, I'm so tired of hearing negativity, not listening to anything but victory. Yeah. Amen. Yeah, I have gotten rid of so many different influencers from my regular viewing over the last 2 years. About 2 years ago, I really started trimming down, because if it was just like unnecessary speculation or hyping people up or negativity, I was done with it. And so, just like with the TV stations that I know a lot of you don't listen to anymore, like me, just get rid of it, because all it does is hold you back in different ways. And you're not going to really appreciate that fact until you do it. And then after a couple months, you'll realize that, wow, yeah, all that negativity and confusion from people was just wasting my time and wasting my focus. So over the last 8 years, that was one of the best changes I've made. And I think a lot of you too, is we've just cut out the people and voices that we don't need in our life. And unfortunately, sometimes it's family or people that have been close friends to us. And that's why I always say, as harsh as it may sound, blood is not thicker than water when it comes to trustworthiness, loyalty, friendship, love. It's just not that way. And the Bible's got my back on that. And I'm not going to try to quote the verses, but it's all in there. So, yes, sometimes we have to deal with family, but it doesn't mean we have to argue with them. We don't have to let them get in our head and torment us in different ways. We all have lessons to learn on those kinds of things. But being conscious of it is usually the first step to sort of taking control of your own life. That's what it's about. It's about taking responsibility for yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody's going to save you. And that's just the reality. So some people are better at being independent minded than others, and we all have our strengths, but I'm kind of a realist when it comes to that stuff anymore. I would rather do some things myself if I knew I can at least rely on myself, than try to rely or hope that other people, will keep their promise or just be consistent, because just we all tend to let each other down sometimes. But stay positive, stay hopeful, keep the faith, and keep trusting God, because if you do those things, lots of the problems won't seem too bad or nearly as bad. So let's see. It's Christianity that starts to get to me. I'm going to be honest. Tired of the doom and gloom. Can't do it anymore. Yeah. Well, I'm a Christian, and I totally agree with you on the doom and gloom point. And it's actually one of my pet peeves about some of the pastors out there. So I hear you. Vicky says amen and winged eternally, but I do consider myself Christian. Awesome. Yeah, those of us who've really opened our eyes and ears to things the last 8 years, especially, most of us are looking at the churches a little bit different, or a lot of bit different, than we were 10 years ago. Because the truth of it is, just because you're a pastor, that doesn't make you special to just say and do what you want. And for an instance, one of my pet peeves too is using tithe money to buy the fanciest equipment that you don't need, and do all kinds of building upgrades and stuff like that. No, it should be done very prudently. And some of those examples is why I left my last church, because the new pastor he wanted to be all new age and all modern and all this stupid stuff. So I totally get what you're saying. I've lived it, been there. Actually, at more than one church, I've lived that, which is why I have such a pet peeve for it now. But being able to move around for the Marine Corps, I also was blessed at some really great churches with really great senior pastors. So it's not all churches that are bad or wonderful. It's just human nature that some do a great job and some do a bad job. So that's where, for the rest of us, discernment comes in to, if your intuition and discernment is working on that first Saturday or Sunday, that first church service, whatever it is, then you're going to pick up on certain things. And especially if you go back 2 or 3 times. So that's the difference, is being aware and really just looking, listening, and paying attention to all the cues that you get. So me, from the experiences I've had at a few churches, I will never make that mistake again to serve a church or a pastor that isn't really, I don't want to say respecting me, but that is part of it. But, well, really just being a hypocrite. You know, teaching the Bible, but then not really living it. So, yeah, that's why with age comes wisdom, because you have so many experiences like that with people over the years that, I mean, as long as you keep growing as a person, some don't in their older age, but as long as you keep growing and learning from the experiences and stay positive, then you're going to have less and less of those experiences with people because you're going to know how to avoid them. So I guess that's the bright side. And wow, that was a long tangent. Yeah, I could talk for hours just about my experiences with churches and pastors and all the things I've learned. But I choose to be thankful for it because, like I said, since I went through it, I'm never going to go through that again, not in the same way or for many years like I did. So Vicky says, I think we've all been hurt by the churches at some time or another, but it doesn't make us love God any less. Right, exactly. So it's not God's fault. And even when you have a church like that or a pastor like that, there's going to be lots of great people, still there too. So it just makes it a really tough decision to leave, which, was one of the issues that I had with my last church. Serving needy people is all we should be concerned. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you are serving a church, member of a church, and you're not seeing it obviously like helping the community, and you just see a lot of like fun events and cool stuff all the time instead, then you might want to get out of there because it just might be a little bit more like a pyramid scheme than anyone is going to ever tell you. But it's just, you will know them by their fruits, right? That's what it's all about. You just got to be on the lookout. All right. Well, thank you for that tangent, winged eternally. I can count on you for that conversation. And I'm glad we see eye to eye on that. But I like getting new perspectives too. And Vicky as well. So, yeah, like I said, this is kind of my time for night shifts and lives. I'll do my best to keep it consistent. But if I don't, I'll still be around. During the week is different too, because sometimes I can do a couple lives and, maybe breakfast time, which is usually my late breakfast. Sometimes I decide to get chatty with you all. So, all right, this doggy, can you see her, is very patient. And she's like, okay, yeah, let's go. Cassie says, let's go. So I'll wrap it up here. Thanks for joining me as usual and supporting as always. I appreciate it. For some reason I can't see anyone else's comments. Huh, that's strange. Can't see anybody's comments. I'm not sure why that is. I haven't noticed that issue before, but hopefully next time it will be normal. So, all right, make sure you check out all the new videos, and please check out some of my other things in the description, especially at the top. And if you watch one of those videos on another place, please comment, drop your first name or something and say, hey, we talked on the live or something, because a lot of people don't comment on those other places. Me too. I don't always comment. So it's just nice to know that if you're checking out some of the other stuff, that I don't do here, because I do bounce around a lot. And so I don't know, it may seem like I'm not doing a whole lot of lives or personal videos with you guys here, but I'm bouncing around to these different places every day. And of course, trying to do music too. So that's why I'm always so busy, but I kind of love all of it for different reasons. So I will keep doing it until further notice. So, okay, thanks again. Vicky said, I think it's because there's only 2 of us in. Oh, yeah, I think there's, well, it's saying 5 here right now, maybe 6 with me, but yeah, I'm seeing all the comments, so I'm not sure why that is. But maybe it's just a little glitch. Maybe YouTube is having some fun with you. That is never out of the question. That's always possible. So, yeah, play the game nicely here. I'm telling you, if you want to use it, just play the game nicely and you'll have less problems. I learned it the hard way. And then all those other places, you can let her rip. And that's what I do. So I learned that the hard way over and over again, as a matter of fact. Not just here, but the other F place. Yeah, anyway. So, okay. Thank you all. I've been following Pastor Bob and 𝐸𝐻O since 2017. Ooh, wow. Much longer than me. I started really about a year ago with both of them, and then just dove in head first, big time, immediately. But that's awesome. So, okay, you guys have a good night and a good weekend. Take care. Take care of yourselves. Keep the faith. Stay positive. Stay grateful. All that good stuff, because awesome things are happening. And hey, just imagine 3-4 years ago, if we would have known where we'd be right now with what just happened this week, if we would have known that 100%, if somebody, some angel dropped down and told us, we would be super happy. Or we would have been super happy. So let's enjoy where we're at now, because we are seeing the fall of the who in progress. So enjoy the show. The best is yet to come, and we'll end it there. So thanks. God bless. Bye for now.